So, good evening, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
Thank you.
teacher, we can see your
Thank
screen.
you. Thank you. Good evening. So
Good.
today will be the last section of our discussion. And then the last meeting will be presentation section. Then all of your teammates, all of your classmates gonna present, for the next session. So this is the last topic I'm going to discuss with you as well as listen to your experience also. I would do mentoring and coaching because we can explore the distinction between coaching and mentoring because this is the trait for an effective coach. And in this, we also explore a framework, a model named CROW through structured conversation. Then I chose this because mentoring and coaching deeply connected with emotional intelligence, particularly with the part of emotional intelligence such as self-awareness, empathy and relationship and management. And a good coach leverage emotional intelligence to inspire growth and performance. That's why I think it's important for us to discuss this topic today. So at the end of this section, we be able to identify the differences between coaching and mentoring and how and know you use determine practice characteristics of good coach. For example, the element for a good coaching section establish importance of communication in coaching process and identify how to give feedback to coaches. Now, first, let's discuss what is coaching and mentoring. So we should differentiate between this. Now, coaching in definition, the process of helping other individual realize their inner potential, delivering fulfillment both to individual and the organization. And then it related to both individual and the organization. So to coach, the coach come from the root meaning to bring a person from where they are to where they want to be. So coaching the art of facilitating the performance, learning, and development of others. So the kind of key idea about coaching. So we also know that coaching is not leading, managing, instruction, mandating, disciplinary, giving advice, offering opinion. This is a myth. It's not a truth. Coaching not meaning managing someone, and especially coaching is not mentoring also. So a mentor is usually long-term, while a coach is just for immediate performance issue. That's the number one differences between coaching and mentoring. Then you see the differences between the comparison between coaching and mentoring. Coaching help on employee or team members. When you coach employee, you improve their ability to do their current job and increase their potential to do more in the future. That's the purpose of coaching. While mentoring is reserved for your most talented employees. Now, in this case, mentoring at work refer to work with talented people, help them advance, and they will become assets now and allies in the future. Now they will find someone else, maybe a competitor who appreciate their talent also. Now mentoring is if you should use this mentoring for your exceptional employee, your followers, people who show promise, but need help to become top performers. Now, if A is in the role of a leader, now I'm talking to you as in the role of a leader or manager, an impactful role of you to talent people around you as a mentor. Your responsibility are to represent the company values, give pep talks, offer instruction on how company potential structure and influence decision maker to help your mentee and provide contact and resources. So a mentoring relationship shorten your employee and learning curve and increase productivity. So that kind of some information is too long. Now let's talk about importance of coaching. Why your organization success depend on developing employees.
Hello, teacher.
Yes.
I have
Hello.
I
Hello.
have a
Yeah.
I have a question, teacher.
Welcome. Welcome. Can you hear me well? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you very well, teacher.
Thanks.
Okay,
Now we
like
continue with any question coming up?
yeah, I have a question. Yeah,
Yeah,
when
please.
you said that coaching is not instructing or instruction, what do you mean by that, teacher?
Coaching and
It's not
instruction.
instruction. Go back to your slide, the first slide, where you said coaching is not. You listed so many things like
Mm,
coaching is not mentorship, coaching is not instruction, coaching is not discipline, coaching etc. So why did they say that coaching is not instruction?
okay. So I'm trying to explain here in the way that we instruction is something that we believe to you is for someone who don't really know well about something, but for coaching, we assume that the person already know about that area. So we usually, I am also, sometimes confuse coaching with teaching construction, but they are different. For example, if we use instruction, we mean about telling or showing someone what to do. And and the
Yes,
and the power that it lies in my power, the power is belong to me. It's lie within me as an instructor,
yes. When
right?
when you are an instructor or when you are a coach, you instruct whoever you're coaching or team you're coaching, you will instruct them. And whatever instructions you're giving, you're trying to instill discipline in
Mm.
accordance to what is at hand or performance.
S-
Because every coach has a
Mm.
target. A target of
Mm.
the coach is to win, and for him to win, his or her team will
Mm.
follow his
Mm.
instruction or tactics. So I think in this scenario or in reality, coaching and mentorship are in pari passu. What do I mean? Their significance, they share the same feature or characteristics.
Mm.
In other words, they are actually two different words, but can work either ways.
Yeah.
So when they say coaching is not, I think, in my own perspective, there is a mix up somewhere. Those words like discipline and instructing is part of coaching and is also part of mentorship.
Mm. Mm.
Mentorship is a situation whereby someone is handed over to you to train. Likewise, coaching is giving you a team of individuals for you to manage. And when you are managing them, there must be a stipulated instructions that they have to obey.
Yeah, I agree. I
In
agree with
other
this
words,
question.
these are different leaders in different case scenarios. So, in in a nutshell, coaching and mentorship are two different words, but can perform the same thing to get a certain result. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you so much for your contribution in the discussion. Yeah, that I would say coaching is more about understanding and that need emotional skill also, a asking, listening, and guiding someone to discover their own solution. So then the power at this time will lie within the coachee, not the coach, not the teacher themselves, not the instructor themselves, but it's lie with the give and power for the coach is a Ibrahim trying to division between coaching and mentoring, yes, and then in this situation, in this scenario, I try to focus on coaching and mentoring in organization, okay, not in other daily life, education, or so, but in actually in business, for example, in the role of yourself as a leader or as a manager, who are you going to coach and who are you going to choose to mentor them. Now, in organization, for example, in university, for example, I may coach many group of students at school. I coach many projects from different kind of units and courses, but I only mentor some of excellent student or talented student or creative student or some student that I consider their potential to develop more in the future. So in this case, I would focus on coaching and mentoring in organization.
Okay, teacher. In other words, what you're trying to say is coaching are for team, a group of persons, why mentorship is just for an individual, an excellent individual, or an employee that needs to
Mm,
improve in an organization.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay.
that's true. Yeah.
Now I got your argument, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Ira. Will we continue with some of the idea now? And you can jump up and discuss anytime or ask question. Then we can clarify our idea. That's the best way, to understand it other and to share our perspective. I like it. Really, thank you so much, Ira. We go continue to go.
You're welcome, teacher.
Hmm, share. I lost my share. Okay, you see my screen share now, right?
Yes, we can see your screen, teacher.
Then what we yeah. So there's some kind of new approach to coaching A new approach to coaching operate on reminds that everyone can be developed through coaching, and employees development is every manager responsibility and every employee responsibility as well. So a manager would try move employee through new challenges and strengthen their professional ability. Then development more like a means of informal on the job way of learning. So, you know, a now kind of manager role in coaching that I believe you all know about it. So if your role as a coach, you guide your employee by helping to match their skill, interest, and work value with job opportunity. Um, yeah, you may think about some example that you may relate it to. Conduct frequent discussion of developmental need. Give timely and specific feedback about an individual performance. Again, establish expectation. You may think about example, okay, provide opportunity for coaching when necessary. Any situation that you experienced before, act a informal teacher by being conscious of the behavior and attitudes that you model, or you work with your employee to wrap individual development plans and follow through to achieve them. That do you see the manager in your company, or if you are a manager, if you are a coach, did you do this kind of activity? Did you play this role before in your job? You may relate it to your job. So think a bit about it. Or if you remember during your career, you used to receive, coaching from your manager. Okay, if you have no idea, then we move uh, the section 2 that talk about characteristic of a good coach. Now, what do you think? If you are a good coach, what characteristic that you need to have? Or if you experience any good coach that you can learn from, what kind of characteristics of his or her that you can learn?
I think one of the characteristics of a good coach is having a communication skill that is relatable to his subordinates or his candidate or his team. If he has these listening skills, he can
Mm.
take information from or he can take observations from his team and do well to work with it. So he must possess a good communication skill.
Yeah, sure, I agree. Uh, um, there's in research it say people want to do well in their job, and when you believe in them, people want to grow professionally. So first of all, we have a belief about our coaches. So for the bad belief is the most important. If you don't believe in your team on your coaching, and it's hard to become a good coach. So then you don't need to have them gain the skill, abilities, and knowledge. They need to increase their potential and improve their performance.
Yeah, in other words, that
Yeah.
is to say that a good coach must be patient with his
Mm,
team,
mm,
and he also must possess the spirit of what will I call it again? He must be consistent in his tactics, and he should also give room for improvement. That is what that makes him a good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, his decision making should center what to work best for the team, and how well he can do it is also another thing to make him a good coach. What measures is he taking?
Yeah.
What are his coaching style?
Mm.
He must have a style. If he doesn't have a style, he's not a good coach. There must be a significance between him and another coach. For him to stand out, there must be an outstanding qualities of him.
Yeah. Sure. Now, if we move to the idea that say a good coach does not need to be right, to be the expert, to know the right answer, to be in control, to fix it, to heal it, or to make it better. So, if we say that, do you agree? If you agree, then is there any example that show a good coach does not need to be right? Why this idea should be discussed, you know?
Can we discuss point in point one,
Yeah.
second part, where it is said a good coach does not need to be the expert?
Mm.
Can you elaborate? Can you explain further? Can you break down that point so that we can understand?
Yeah. In in this case, um, we need to focus on it is technically, a good coach doesn't need to be an expert in any technical area. Instead, they need to skill at asking question, listening, and unlocking the other personal potential. So, so we may think that we can only coach if we know more about the coachee about a subject. But I think that's not true because, for example, for you, you know more than me. I can be your coach, but I'm not an expert in the field you are working for, and
Observation, teacher.
mm, yeah.
Before before you can answer a coach or a manager, there must be some expertise in what you do. You must be an expert. And it is said that no man is an island of its own. You still need other people to operate. That is why they have team of coaches. But you must be an expert in that field. If you're not an expert, they can't make you a coach or a manager.
Mm,
And it's also said that we learn every day, even as a coach. You learn. You said it. You said it in the middle of your communicating to us. You said it that even as a coach, you still learn from others. Yes, it is true. But there must be a skill set that qualifies you to be a coach or a manager. So I think I don't believe or I don't agree to this second point where they say a coach does not need to be an expert. I take observations. If you can convince me further on this, I can accept it.
okay.
Okay,
So
I
I
I
agree.
like this debate.
It's up to you. It's up to you. Yeah, it's up to
I
you.
like this debate.
Mm.
Can I try? I like this debate.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
John,
Francis, come
John,
on, yeah.
John, Jonas,
Yeah,
Jonas.
okay. So I name an example. I believe, Efren, you know about soccer. I do believe most of us know about soccer, football. So in football, as a team, there are managers. There is a manager and there are many different coaches. So as I want to say is that why is the difference between coach and manager? And the topic is that now our discussion is that a coach don't need to be an expert, which I agree in a certain stand in this sports aspect. Coach don't do teaching. Coach do facilitation. As you can see in a soccer, the manager is an expert of the game. He's a technician. Okay, he gives instruction where the player should play. He's an expert, but a coach is not an expert. A coach is a facilitator and a guide to tell the manager this player today is morale high and he can play well. He's not an expert. He is a morale facilitator. He's a morale and behavior guidance. He's going to tell the manager that he's fit for today. His morale is high for today, and you place him at this position, he will do well. So a coach is trying to get a long-term and a professional view on what another expert is going to get at the end of the result. I know this might not be a very perfect answer, but I think
Yes.
you know you really have to believe. You see, a coach asks open-ended questions. Okay, a coach only asks specific behavior and future purposes. It creates a psychological safety for everybody. He's not an expert. He's a coaching skill. It's a skill. He's not an expert. Everybody needs a coach. Only needs skill. He don't need to be an expert of certain thing. He's like a jack of all trades. But a manager, he has to be expert because he give instruction where you play and where you don't play. So I hope I understand. I try to clarify this. And just a use cases to on the ground for dialogue.
Okay, Mr. Francis, I
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that you
Oh, I agree
contributed.
with Fraser.
No.
Because
I cannot totally agree with Francis based on the case scenario he brought up.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, first time when I hear about the Afrin, sorry for my
Okay.
pronunciation.
Okay.
But I agree with you. Oh, I did that's right. But when I listen about Fraser, because I don't know about I don't well about like coach. I have no experience in this. But right now, when I listen to the forensic about the football coach and manager, we don't need to be expert. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Um, um,
anybody can be a
yes,
coach,
yes,
but not
Francis,
everybody can be a manager.
Francis. A manager is a head coach. Do you agree with
A
me?
manager
In
is not a
football, a
coach.
manager
Go
is
and
a head coach.
no, Efren, can you go and
That,
check the definition? A manager is not a coach at all. A manager is a leader. He's a CEO of the team. He's not
no,
a
he's not.
coach.
He's not a CEO.
You can go and get a definition from ChatGPT, please.
Okay. However, making this interactive, if you say that a coach is a skill, I agree. I agree. But you must show some kind of expertise in what you do. That is why they have different coaches in a football team. Do you
Like I
agree with
say,
me?
a
Do
coach,
you
like I
agree
say,
with me that they
I don't
have
agree.
different
I
coaches?
don't agree. What's the difference between expertise and skill set? Can you tell me the difference? It's totally
No,
two different things.
they are obviously the same.
No, they are not the same. Expertise is not skill set. A skill set can be in general. Expertise means you are in specialized on something. You are being called a specialist. That's
That is why
totally
they
two
have a
different
goalkeeping
definitions.
coach. They even have coaches that in charge of training strikers.
No, it's not an expert on certain thing. A coach, okay, if you go deeper and go and search about soccer, okay, a soccer coach don't play soccer. Most of the time, a manager plays soccer.
Is that depend on the fee? I want to know like about
Obviously.
the football or coach.
Can we use another thing that is outside football? Because Francis, I totally
Yeah,
disagree
yeah.
when it comes to football.
Outside football, other fee like education or
Yeah,
other.
other fields like education. Yeah. What other
Okay, then
good
let's go to
examples can we use?
organization. let's go to organization. Just organization.
Yes.
Employee, employer. Okay. So right now you are a manager. A manager give instruction, right? You have to
Yeah.
obey to him. Okay. I'm your peer. I can coach you as well. A manager can coach you as well because it's a long-term goal.
I let me refresh our memory from what the teacher
Right?
said from
Do
the
I need to be
initial
expert in something to
from
do
the initial
coaching?
argument I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
with the teacher. The teacher was able to dichotomize the whole thing
Mm-hmm.
by saying that coach has to do with a set of people, while mentorship has to do with a potential employee who they need to bring up. So, as a manager, you can coach the whole team, and as a manager, you can as well mentor an individual who you think that is lagging in his or her job, that you need to bring him to stand out in his job.
Look, it's very simple to
Yeah,
maintain an organization chart. Okay, every specific position has a specific role to play. Okay,
yeah,
I can be a coach, but I'm a manager. Why do I want to be a coach? I'm a manager. My focus is KPI.
of course.
Okay, if you want to be a coach, it's out of your boundary. You do it. That's a good person. Okay, but if I'm a manager, I want everybody to fulfill KPI. A manager don't need to be a coach. Okay, but I have a team leader. A team leader can be a
Now
coach
you're
to an
coming.
employee. No, now we are talking about organization, right?
Yeah,
Organization.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm talking about organization with you. So there
yeah.
are different positions in an organization. So in
Yeah.
definition, let us agree on something. What's the definition of coaching? And then we can talk more about that.
Okay, teacher, you can turn
Can I
to your
understand?
slide where you have definition of coaching and mentorship.
Okay. So now let me show you some information here.
It's a dialogue, right? So everybody
Yeah,
just share their
everybody
point.
just
Yeah,
Everybody
feel
can
free to
share. Yeah,
discuss, you
yeah.
know.
I
yes.
just want the
Okay.
I'm
class to
so
be
happy that
interactive
yeah,
today. Today is our last class, so let it be more fun.
Yeah, let's be
you will never
free
be
to
last.
discuss, to
Yes, I
clarify
agree.
everything.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really like it. I really like your way of debate, you know.
No, because just now it's too dull, I just want to make it alive.
Let's
Now,
make it live.
now
Yeah,
you want me go back to the definition? Or
yeah. Go back to the definition of what you meant by coaching and mentorship, so that we can have a clear understanding about it.
No, yeah, the slide can have their own. We have terms for coaching, a pure definition from the slide. But in our own understanding, what is our definition? We can also share about it.
Yeah, we
yeah,
do.
now what is the definition? You can research about a definition, or you want me to give a definition?
Yeah, okay. I give you my example. For me, I think coaching is future focus. It's not something immediate. Okay. Coaching is really a performance based on future, and it's not immediate. It's not like I want you to do this tomorrow because I need this. It's not. I think the definition of coaching is I want to see you grow in 10 months' time with a smart goals. My definition of coaching is a long term. Okay. And anybody can be a coach. If I have certain strength and not expert, which is characteristic or personality, I can coach people. And when people see that you have that quality, they believe in you and they allow you to coach them. Coaching is something that is a two-way, it's not one way. So instruction is one way, coaching is two-way. That's my definition. Okay, everybody is
Okay.
feel free to share anything. Yeah.
Okay, Francis,
Yeah.
did you say that coaching is a long term?
Of course, there's a KPI for that. Sorry.
Okay, what of mentorship? What can you now say about mentorship?
No. Now I'm talking about the definition of coaching. What's your definition?
Okay. My own definition of coaching, I think, is a structure,
Sorry.
right? A structure that has to do with a goal. You are focusing on the goal, and it's also a process where you help an individual
So you
to improve on
agree
performance.
can be it's long term, right?
Your voice is breaking.
No, do you agree with me? It's long term. Sorry.
I think it's futuristic.
Yeah.
It's a
So you
future
agree
friendly.
with me? It's long term.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
long term.
Okay.
It's a long term, but we need to narrow it down to what it's all about. It's a long term, actually. I agree with you,
Okay.
but we need to
Thank you.
narrow it down. We narrow it down because it is a process that takes longer time for improvement. It might take a year, it might
Okay.
take 2 years, yeah, but it's also a thing of the
Okay.
future.
So we have one agreement together. That's wonderful. Next, please.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course, and it's also to develop a skill,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
help an
Also, it's
individual
also,
to
and
develop
it's
a
not
skill,
immediate. Yes, it's a skill. I already said that
or to
earlier on. It's a skill.
achieve a given objective or objectives. You know,
Right. And it's not immediate.
it's not
Wonderful. We
immediate. It's
all
not
agree.
immediate.
Yes.
It's a thing of process. It takes time.
Right. Thanks for agreeing with me again. Okay. Another name.
I will always agree with you if you're right.
I also I want to be together, so that we coach together, and then we agree on each something together. And even though we
Mm.
disagree to agree to learn.
Yeah,
That's the
of
most
course.
important thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We need to learn to. I'm also learning from you, Efren. That's why I came in to do the dialogue. I find that it's so interesting that you start the pace. So thank you
Yeah.
for that.
You're welcome, brother. You're welcome, brother.
Cheers, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
But Francis,
Yep.
can we liken coaching to mentorship? Do you think there's a way we can
I
liken mentorship to
I
coaching?
I yeah. I think
Are there
right now,
similarities?
yeah. Okay. Let me really define my own understanding of okay. Mentorship is you really need to have a specific wisdom. That's why you can mentor a person. Okay, you need to have a certain development or okay. It's very broad. I think it's more powerful than coaching. It's really more powerful than coaching. Mentor is something that this person must be very, very experienced, must be very, very knowledgeable in order, yeah,
To
to support somebody which is lesser experienced. A coach can be a peer, but a mentor must be someone on different status. I think that's my definition.
okay,
I think it's a bit of English. Yeah, it's a bit of English. But
okay.
I you know, yeah, you see, a coach, like, always, I mean, I went for a skill coach, I have a qualification for a life skill coach course. A coach always asks questions, okay? Always want your answer. He don't want his own answer to you. I went for life skill coach, I know, okay? A mentor share their own answer and experience to guide you. So a coach don't really share their experience to guide you. A coach want you to grow in your own inner self. That's the definition of actually a life coach. I hope I'm wrong, but I hope that I learned the right thing in the certification. So maybe
I
teacher or maybe Efren, yeah, y'all can guide me as well.
I think you are not completely wrong.
Yeah, I
No,
think
no opinion is right or wrong. It's
sure,
Right.
just
sure.
the way
We
we
learn each
put
other.
in the
Yeah.
argument.
Mm-hmm.
So I think expertise has to come in mentorship where you are experienced. Like
Yeah.
for me,
Thanks.
ordinary definition of mentorship is handing someone over to someone who can tame and train the person into what he's being asked to do. Is like
Yes.
a long
So
term
a
is
mentor.
like a long term development.
Right. It's a relationship. You need to have a relationship in order to do a
Ye-
mentorship. Yes.
yes, yes. So I think that mentorship and coaching has a kind of similarities. They do,
I would say one is faster effect, one is slower effect. I don't think that they are 100% different, but there's a, when we are doing life coach course, we don't call ourselves a mentor. A mentor must be someone with an expertise. Is a different, is a mentor. I do not understand. There's no mentor course. There's only coach course. So yeah, and there's no way to answer whether is it correct or wrong, or is it half correct or half wrong, because you look at the in a whole series of professional certification, there's nothing on this word mentor. So yeah, it's very vague. But Efren, you brought a very good topic. I think it's very vague. Yeah, so maybe we need more study on that.
Yeah. So in this case, if you relate coaching to emotional intelligent connection, you would see that the strength of coaching is facilitation, not instruction. And if it's connected
Yes,
to
facilitation. Correct.
emotional intelligence,
Framework.
is ask you to focus on, empathy and social skill. It means that you don't need to domain of expertise, but you need ability to understand and support.
Yeah.
And if it related to self-awareness,
Sure.
self-regulation, that I
Yeah.
mean,
Coaching. Yeah.
because we discussing coaching in the relationship, why it's important, why it's connected to emotional intelligence of
Yeah.
people. So then when we are being a coach, we self-aware and we self-regulate, so then
Yeah.
sometimes we are going to hold back our judgment or solution to let our coaching idea to emerge, for example, or in the relationship management between ourselves as a coach and coachee, that we help people trust the process and own their growth, their own growth.
Yes.
So if we connect it with emotional intelligence, then should not be an expert in this situation, in this scenario. But I do agree, sometimes I was confused too before. I think I need to be really good at this area to coach someone. Yeah. So before, I think if I am an artist, so if I become an artist, if I paint very beautiful picture, then I can help my child to paint a very beautiful picture, the same thing that I can do. I think so, but it's very different. Even I'm a very good painter or artist. I'm not going to coach my child the way I do, but he gonna paint the picture the way he want, and it's become unique. And but I confused. I think I should be very good, but now I believe that I don't need to do so. I am talking to you about emotional intelligence for sure. I can do research about this and give you some idea and you discuss, but I'm not sure 100% that I'm the one with the high level of emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah.
And one of you, maybe you got different level of emotional intelligence, but it means that I'm not coaching you now in the way, I'm not trusting you about your emotional intelligence. You're the one that take the lead. You got the ownership of yourself. So now let's say I'm going to share you this video. Is this just small one? And then this she discussed in this.
Since it's your first lesson, let's discuss your goals with Spanish. Let's open the whiteboard. Can you write
Say 5 mistakes a new coach can make, and the first thing, thinking you have to be the expert.
Hey, new coach. Welcome to the New to Coaching community. I'm Allison Peterson, and this is video 1 of the 5 mistakes that new coaches make as they get started with instructional coaching. So if you are a brand new coach, you just got hired, or maybe you're going into your 2nd year and you need a refresher of some things you want to be thinking about, this series is for you, the 5 mistakes that new coaches make and how you can avoid them.
So after you watch this video, you would continue to debate with another 4 mistake, you know. Let's see what she discussed about mistake and activity as a coach.
So before we get started with the mistakes, let's talk about how you're feeling as a new coach. I know that right now you are feeling excited and nervous. And that is a combination that most coaches are feeling as they walk into the unknown of instructional coaching. There are so many unknowns. There's so much fog and not a lot of clarity as you start this role. And so you're excited because you just got hired to do the work that you have been dreaming about doing. Or you're really excited about this opportunity, even though you're not sure you even raised your hand for it. They just told you, tap, tap, tap on the shoulder, that you would be great for it. But you're nervous because there's a lot to learn on this new journey, and you're not even sure what those things are that you're supposed to be learning. I hear coaches talk all the time about how they feel like an imposter. They have this idea of like feeling imposter syndrome right away as they step out of the classroom into coaching. This comes from a couple different things. One, sometimes it's because they're switching content or switching grade levels in a way that they feel like, well, they've never taught that, so how could they possibly coach that thing? So the nervousness usually comes from a feeling of not knowing enough or also not having enough expertise. And that leads us into mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 that new coaches make is that they think they have to be the expert in everything when they step into coaching. And this is difficult because when you get hired, you feel like you're being hired because you have expertise, because you know certain things, maybe about literacy, maybe about math, certain subject area contents, maybe it's because you've taught a lot of grade levels, but you at the same time are being told you're going to coach all of these grade levels, and you don't know every one of those standards and everything because you haven't taught all of that. So it's this feeling of I'm never going to be good enough because I don't know everything that the teachers know, or I don't know everything that the teachers need to know. And you get this sense of feeling like you're not going to be good enough, like your expertise is not there. So sometimes you dive right in and you start learning, which is good. But I also want to help you see that this mistake is actually a misunderstanding. You don't have to be an expert as a coach. So the way to avoid this first mistake that new coaches make of thinking that they have to be the expert is to realize what you have to be instead. You have to be a partner. Instead of feeling like you have to be an expert, when you're starting into your instructional coaching role, you want to position yourself as a partner. This is so important in your ability to be successful as a coach because it helps you right away to not come off as an expert who knows everything and teachers just have to learn from and they're being told by, but instead finding the person who is going to come alongside them and coach them on their journey. This idea of partnership has really come from Jim Knight's work. He actually has 7 partnership principles that he talks about, and I will link some videos that he's made below in the description so you can check those out. But this concept of partnership in coaching is how you position yourself as someone who is side by side teachers, not someone who is an expert who is above them and knows more. In my experience as a coach, and I've coached for over 10 years now, I have never known all of the content that I had to know when I was coaching teachers. I coach teachers K to 12 and even preschool teachers. And so all of that content was not something that I had from my own experience. So I had to come alongside them and learn with them. But I had an expertise to offer. My expertise was in curriculum design and lesson design and in instruction. And often their expertise that they brought to the table was in the content that they knew so well. One time I coached a physics teacher, and trust me on this one, physics is not my field, but I was absolutely able to work with her because she was able to bring all of the physics knowledge, and I was able to help her take all of her knowledge and structure it into lessons and unit plans that were going to be effective in her instructional approach. So you can actually coach any teacher. You don't have to be the expert on their content. You just have to be willing to be their partner. When it comes to partnership, you can really think about this idea of a golfer and a caddy as a great metaphor for what coaches can do in partnership rather than in feeling like they are experts. So if you know a little bit about golf, you know that every pro golfer actually has a caddy who walks with them throughout their tournament and helps them achieve the goal of competing in the tournament, winning the tournament along the way. And this caddy is someone who has been working with them at every stage of the process. They show up at practice, they do practice rounds where they walk through the course and they prep the yardages and they look for the bunkers and all of the different hazards that could be in the way. The relationship between the caddy and the golfer is so essential. The caddy is there to support and help the golfer think about the work that they are doing and to be able to think better because they have a partner to think with. So in that smaller picture there, they are on the range planning and planning and talking together and making a plan for how the round will go. And then they're walking the round together as well. So this image is really powerful when it comes to partnership because both of these people, the player and the caddy, have a really important role to play. Now, the player is the one who ultimately hits the ball, ultimately makes the shots, and ultimately kind of owns the win when they do win. But the caddy is there supporting him along the way, giving him guidance, advice, giving him guidance, support, helping him think through the process and helping him be successful. And so the caddy's role is really vital. So both roles together is how a golfer can achieve a win in a tournament. And even professionals have a caddy. So it's a very cool analogy to think about how you don't have to be the expert as a coach, but instead you can be a partner. So the mistake that new coaches make is they think they have to be the expert. They dive in trying to learn everything there is to know when they need to realize that you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be a partner willing to come alongside teachers and support them on their journey. They have plenty of knowledge to bring to the table and you have some things too. And with your partnership is how you guys can be successful. So do not make the mistake of thinking you have to be the expert and instead make sure that you are positioning yourself as partner. If you want to learn a little bit more about how to position yourself as partner, look in the description. I have my online course, Getting Started for New Coaches, that is absolutely going to help guide you in this process of positioning yourself as a partner. I also have my new book, Kickstart Your Coaching Cycles, which is available. So click down in the comments to grab those links. So follow along with this series, the 5 mistakes that new coaches make, and make sure that you can avoid those big mistakes. I'll see you in the next video.
So what do you think there would be other kind of mistake being a coach? She didn't mention here. Like she mentioned about mistake number 1, thinking you have to be the expert. If we continue to discuss about this topic and what kind of mistake that we can, meet when becoming a coach, So actually that kind of thing that I talked to you before, that we think that a good coach should know in the right answer, or sometimes we think we are controlling the process, or we make mistake by thinking about fixing something or fixing someone, yeah. Or we may think, oh, we want to make it better, we correct it, we make it better. So that all the kind of thinking for being a good coach. So we move on. We may move on, and you may have more topic to discuss. Yeah. So really, we don't have to know about what we are coaching our subordinates. So we effective because we leverage the individual own knowledge, talent, and expertise, not our own, right? So that would end this discussion here. Now a good coach, they not need, but now a good coach need to do what? When to coach, okay? So then during performance review, as a part of a team setting, individually, in conjunction with the set task, so in organization, during performance review, a performance assessment, when you realize that your coachee has particular challenge or problem, either work related or not, or as a part of a team setting, you usually to generate buy-in for all team members, or you can give a one-on-one conversation with an employee to get to know their career plan, or in order to support them more effectively. When we do individually, it seems like we are doing mentoring, okay? Now we can stop the coach information here. We may move to discuss about mentoring, everyone. Let's talk a little bit about mentoring. What did you know about mentoring? I move a little bit here down. Now this is a scenario, this kind of case study. Now let's focus on mentoring, okay? In situation, mentoring for your exceptional employee, people who show promise but need to become top performer. Now, as a mentor, your responsibility to represent the company values, give pep talk, offering instruction about company political structure, influence decision maker to help your mentee, and provide contact and resources. This for organizational purpose. Now, a mentoring relationship shorten your employee learning curve and increase productivity. Now, let's talk more about mentoring and what are the differences between mentoring and coaching. So we figure out some kind of characteristic that show the differences between mentoring and coaching. What do you think? Tin Lai, you used to talk that you are confusing between coaching and mentoring, right?
So maybe this one Efren is definitely going to take it. A mentor must be expert in something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this, yeah.
Now let's go back. A mentor should be an expert in doing something, right? In giving information or like training, not really training, but mentors, provide wisdom and insight into something, right?
And I think a mentor should be empathic
Mm.
by helping the mentee to grow at a certain stage in his or her career.
Yeah. And anything else?
Yeah, I think uh, a mentor should be a very good advisor, a very, very good advisor.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, so in term of uh, focus, let's say in term of time frame, for example, in long term and short term, which one coaching or mentoring long term and short term?
Mentoring is long term.
Okay, good. And coaching, yeah, things tend to be short term, right? And
Uh,
and
coaching in a way is also a
mm,
long term,
as
but
it's in some
but
ways
in
long term
in
too.
yeah
Mm.
in a certain way it's a long time, but in a general view it's short time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so both coaching and mentoring can be both short term and long term, depending on the duration and depending the circumstance of what the mentorship or the training is about. If it's about career, if it's someone you look up to, probably sometimes mentorships can take up to 5 years, 6 years, because you want the person to grow. You're pouring from your own self to the other person, while coaching is also the same thing. So they are both short term and long term, depending on how we see it.
Maybe I try to reframe. I think for mentoring, correct me if I'm wrong. I think mentoring is often informal and then it's long lasting, which all of us agree on. For coaching, it will definitely be structured and there's a purpose and there's always a set of goal that what we agree on, and there also will be a duration. So it could be long term or short term, but there will be a duration. We know when it's going to reach our objective. So I think that's for coaching. And my understanding for mentoring is always a mentor tell and advice because he's an expert. A coaching always asks, so we think together. And a coach must always listen so that he know what this person is going through and then act together. So I think I would say that it's a different tool set and skill set. A mentor always tell advice because he's expert, he's experienced. A coach always asks, listen, and act together. So that is a partnership, which we all heard in the video. So that's my understanding.
Yeah. Okay. Agree. Okay. Agree about the timelines of coaching and mentoring. Yeah, somehow between short term and long term depends on the situation. Now, what about in the methods? Okay. What are the difference between methods of coaching and mentoring?
Okay, so for me, coaching, you pay people to coach you, why mentorship is a process. Like to get a mentor, the person must say, okay, are you in my field? They must take a liking to you based on some things you are doing and be like, okay, I want to mentor this person. So mentorship is more flexible, but coaching is a paid service. Like I'm paying you to coach me on some certain things in my life. Well, okay, I want you to mentor me. I want you to guide me, give me advice. Okay, so the mentor would look at it and be like, okay, what values does this person have? What value can I impact? What values can I also get from this person
How
mentoring?
Yeah. Any
okay,
okay. Yeah.
okay, coaching has to do with a framework,
Mm.
why mentorship has to do with guidance, providing guidelines. So when I mean coaching has to do with a
Mm.
framework has to do with helping individual to discover potential or discover solutions for themselves. This is the style it takes. It has a structured framework completely. But mentorship, just as my classmate said, you give guidance. You have the skills to guide someone to do better or to be better. So this is the pattern it takes to mentor. And coaching is just a framework. You must have the framework. You must have your tactics for you to
Yeah.
be great. Yeah.
Agree. Agree. Mm. Yeah. So framework, like coaching need a framework for sure. And that matters. That need a model. Needs structure a model for the project that a coaching project. Now, for mentoring is more about personal individual relationship. Then you're going to give advice. You would offering career direction or kind of experience. You tell your story. You motivate, inspire people, inspire mentee. Yeah. Now, how about the outcome? Now that the methods and the outcome of coaching and the outcomes of mentoring are different somehow.
With a coach, the outcome is like usually quick and practical. Like we can gain or improve a specific skill to achieve a set goal, or it can fix a challenge you're facing right now. For example, after coaching, we might become more confident in presenting, better at managing time, or ready to step into a new role. With a mentor, the outcome is more long-term and personal. Like we build confidence, get a career or life guidance, and grow from someone else's experience. The result isn't just about one skill, but about shaping how we think, how we make decisions, and plan our future. A mentor helps that we can see the bigger picture and often open doors through advice, networking, and encouragement.
Yeah. Okay. That's the outcomes. Yes. Now let's go back to discussion um about the time frames, for example, about short-term and long-term focus. That there's some idea now. I would love you to focus about if about the time frame, and then what are the emotional intelligence related in the way that you put in coaching and mentoring. Now, Now, if we say we want to focus on short term, for example, if I say I would coach on short term, I would focus on immediately performance or skill of my student or my coachee. And in the long term, I would focus on career growth and personal development of my mentee, for example, okay? And then in that case, what I'm going to do in terms of emotional intelligence. Now for coaching, I'm going to use self-regulation by the timely feedback on my coachee, for example. And for mentoring, if I want to focus on the long term and building relationship in long term, and I'm going to use a skill in relationship development, management relationship over time. Now let me explain if the methods that related to emotional intelligence. If we are a coach, then we say that we are facilitator. We facilitate the process. And then if so, for emotional intelligence, we would be an active listener, right? And for a mentors, we would be a very empathy in our guidelines or guidance to the mentee. Yeah. And if we see the focus on, the outcomes, we boost performance and confidence of our coachee, and in related to emotional intelligence, we would be someone very motivated. We accountability also, and as a mentor, we would build trust. We use model of range trust to support long term for our mentee. So then what I want to see, or I want to listen to you if you present in the future, in the next week, Friday, right? We already confirmed the presentation day, the 5th of September. Now, if we present on the 5th September, then I would love you to show not your expertise in coaching, mentoring, management, marketing, or something. Is focused on concept of emotional intelligence. Wherever what topic you pick up, you related it into emotional intelligence model. Okay. And yes, where we are now for coaching. That's it. Okay, now we continue to learn. I'm going to give you this case study, now a TED Talk for you to discuss. Okay, discuss more about coaching. But however, before I go, I'll show you the model of CROW, the structure, the structure that usually we use in coaching, that the CROW methods. Have you ever heard about that? Yeah. Have you ever seen the CROW model in coaching? Now, the CROW model start with achieve, It's about goals. What do you want to move forward on? And as a coach, you would ask, what can you gonna help your coachee achieve in the time available, about the time frame, okay? And what would be the most helpful thing for you to take away from the section, from that coaching section? Another crow. And for sure, the topic, yeah, the crow, the R, reality, what's happening now that tell you and describe the current situation that make you realize that you need to do something different. And then you would ask, what could you do to move yourself just one step forward? That usually you would ask your coaching. And what are your options? Because we in the role of facilitator, so we will ask question and listening and motivate and push people to increase the level of their achievement, to realize their purpose, to realize the reality that they are facing and the desire to change, you know, and then give them the option that they pick up for themselves. So how far toward your objective will that take you? That option, the O, and the W will, what will you do next? Yeah, what could stop you moving forward, and how will you overcome this? And how can you keep yourself motivated or when you need to review process daily, quickly, or monthly? And what do you need from me? So that's the model, that the structure that you should go step by step. And the last one can be T, you know, the T, the topic. Tell me about something. What would you like to think and talk about? That the topic, the T is an extra concept, an extra theme that you would ask your mentee to explore more about the topic or the field that they want to change or to improve. That the CROW model. Okay. I will continue until we finish at 8 and we don't have to have a break. Do you agree, everyone? We don't need to have a break.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, if you agree, and we move on until we finish the discussion today around 8 p.m. Now I'm going to share you a TED Talk. This TED Talk about sorry. Now this talk ask yourself, ask if you want to get great, you know, to be great at doing something, and you get a coach. That's kind of discussion from the speaker. He shared what he found to be the key. If having a good coach to provide you more accurate picture about your reality, to instill positive habit of thinking, to break out your action down and have to build yourself. There's some question that I would love you to think about in relation to emotional intelligence. So, now the team that may align you to think about this video, I'll share you from the message now. While you watching the video, you can sorry. How can I chat? Yeah, chat today. Now, align with emotional intelligence teams. Now, you would ask yourself about self-awareness, recognize the gap, and design an improvement, about humility and learning, about relationship intelligence also, that related to the TED Talk that I'm showing now. Okay.
Amazing to see my drawings come to life. I love that animation allows me to create anything.
I don't come to you today as an expert. I come to you as someone who has been really interested in how I get better at what I do and how we all do. I think it's not just how good you are now, I think it's how good you're gonna be that really matters. I was visiting this birth center in the north of India. I was watching the birth attendants, and I realized I was witnessing in them, in extreme form, this very struggle, which is how people improve in the face of complexity, or don't. The women here are delivering in a region where the typical birth center has a 1 in 20 death rate for the babies, and the moms are dying at a rate 10 times higher than they do elsewhere. Now, we've known the critical practices that stop the big killers in birth for decades. And the thing about it is that even in this place especially, the simplest things are not simple. We know, for example, you should wash hands and put on clean gloves. But here, the tap is in another room, and they don't have clean gloves. To reuse their gloves, they wash them in this basin of dilute bleach. But you can see there's still blood on the gloves from the last delivery. 10% of babies are born with difficulty breathing everywhere. We know what to do. You dry the baby with a clean cloth to stimulate them to breathe. If they don't start to breathe, you suction out their airways, and if that doesn't work, you give them breaths with the baby mask. But these are skills that they've learned mostly from textbooks, and that baby mask is broken. In this one disturbing image for me is a picture that brings home just how dire the situation is. This is a baby 10 minutes after birth, and he's alive, but only just. No clean cloth, has not been dried, not warming skin to skin, an unsterile clamp across the cord. He's an infection waiting to happen, and he's losing his temperature by the minute. Successful child delivery requires a successful team of people. A whole team has to be skilled and coordinated. The nurses who do the deliveries in a place like this, the doctor who backs them up, the supply clerk who's responsible for 22 critical drugs and supplies being in stock and at the bedside the medical officer in charge responsible for the quality of the whole facility. The thing is that they are all experienced professionals. I didn't meet anybody who hadn't been part of thousands of deliveries. But against the complexities that they face, they seem to be at their limits. They were not getting better anymore. It's how good you're gonna be that really matters. It presses on a fundamental question. How do professionals get better at what they do? How do they get great? And there are two views about this. One is the traditional pedagogical view. That is that you go to school, you study, you practice, you learn, you graduate. And then you go out into the world and you make your way on your own. A professional is someone who is capable of managing their own improvement. That is the approach that virtually all professionals have learned by. That's how doctors learn, that's how lawyers do, scientists, musicians. And the thing is, it works. Consider, for example, the legendary Juilliard violin instructor, Dorothy DeLay. She trained an amazing roster of violin virtuosos, Midori, Sarah Chang, Itzhak Perlman. Each of them came to her as young talents, and they worked with her over years. What she worked on most, she said, was inculcating in them habits of thinking and of learning so that they could make their way in the world without her when they were done.
That client review was brutal.
We're going to be underwater for weeks.
Now, the contrasting view comes out of sports. And they say, you are never done. Everybody needs a coach. Everyone, the greatest in the world, needs a coach. So I tried to think about this as a surgeon. Pay someone to come into my operating room, observe me, and critique me. It seems absurd. Expertise means not needing to be coached. So then which view is right? I learned that coaching came into sports as a very American idea. In 1875, Harvard and Yale played one of the very first American rules football games. Yale hired a head coach. Harvard did not. The results? Over the next 3 decades, Harvard won just 4 times. Harvard hired a coach. And it became the way that sports works. But is it necessary then? Does it transfer into other fields? I decided to ask, of all people, Itzhak Perlman. He had trained the Dorothy DeLay way and became arguably the greatest violinist of his generation. One of the beautiful things about getting to write for The New Yorker is I call people up and they return my phone calls. And Perlman returned my phone call. So we ended up having an almost 2-hour conversation about how he got to where he got in his career. And I asked him, I said, why don't violinists have coaches? And he said, I don't know, but I always had a coach. You always had a coach? Oh yeah, my wife Toby, they had graduated together from Juilliard, and she had given up her job as a concert violinist to be his coach, sitting in the audience, observing him and giving him feedback. Itzhak, in that middle section, you know, you sounded a little bit mechanical. What can you do differently next time? It was crucial to everything he became, he said. Turns out there are numerous problems in making it on your own. You don't recognize the issues that are standing in your way, or if you do, you don't necessarily know how to fix them. And the result is that somewhere along the way, you stop improving. And I thought about that, and I realized that was exactly what had happened to me as a surgeon. I'd entered practice in 2003, and for the first several years, it was just this steady upward improvement in my learning curve. I watched my complication rates drop from one year to the next, and after about 5 years, they leveled out. And a few more years after that, I realized I wasn't getting any better anymore. And I thought, is this as good as I'm going to get? So I thought a little more, and I said, okay, I'll try a coach. So I asked a former professor of mine who had retired, his name is Bob Osteen, and he agreed to come to my operating room and observe me. The case, I remember that first case, it went beautifully. I didn't think there would be anything much he'd have to say when we were done. Instead, he had a whole page of dense with notes. Just small things, he said, but it's the small things that matter. Did you notice that the light had swung out of the wound during the case? We spent about half an hour just operating off the light from reflected surfaces. Another thing I noticed, you said, your elbow goes up in the air every once in a while. That means you're not in full control. A surgeon's elbows should be down at their sides, resting comfortably. So that means if you feel your elbow going in the air, you should get a different instrument or just move your feet. It was a whole nother level of awareness. And I had to think, you know, there was something fundamentally profound about this. He was describing what great coaches do. And what they do is they are your external eyes and ears, providing a more accurate picture of your reality. They're recognizing the fundamentals. They're breaking your actions down and then helping you build them back up again. After 2 months of coaching, I felt myself getting better again. And after a year, I saw my complications drop down even further. It was painful. I didn't like being observed. And at times I didn't want to have to work on things. I also felt there were periods where I would get worse before I got better. But it made me realize that the coaches were onto something profoundly important. In my other work, I lead a health systems innovation center called Ariadne Labs, where we work on problems in the delivery of healthcare, including global childbirth. As part of it, we had worked with the World Health Organization to devise a safe childbirth checklist. It lays out the fundamentals, it breaks down the fundamentals, the critical actions that a team needs to go through when a woman comes in labor, when she's ready to push, when the baby is out, and then when the mom and baby are ready to go home. And we knew that just handing out a checklist wasn't going to change very much. And even just teaching it in the classroom wasn't necessarily going to be enough to get people to make the changes that you needed to bring it alive. And I thought on my experience and said, what if we tried coaching? What if we tried coaching at a massive scale? We found some incredible partners, including the government of India, and we ran a trial there in 120 birth centers in Uttar Pradesh, in India's largest state. Half the centers basically we just observed, but the other half got visits from coaches. We trained an army of doctors and nurses like this one who learned to observe the care and also the managers, and then help them build on their strengths and address their weaknesses. One of the skills, for example, they had to work on with people turned out to be fundamentally important was communication. Getting the nurses to practice speaking up when the baby mask is broken or the gloves are not in stock or someone's not washing their hands. And then getting others, including the managers, to practice listening.
Thời điểm này, liệu có giống như năm 2008 khi thị trường bất động sản sau thời kỳ sốt nóng?
This small army of coaches ended up coaching 400 nurses and other birth attendants and 100 physicians and managers. We tracked the results across 160,000 births. The results in the control group, you had, and these are the ones who did not get coaching, they delivered on only 1/3 of 18 basic practices that we were measuring. And most important was over the course of the years of the study, we saw no improvement over time. The other folks got 4 months of coaching and then it tapered off over 8 months. And we saw them increase to greater than 2/3 of the practices being delivered. It worked. We could see the improvement in quality. And you could see it happen across a whole range of centers. It suggested that coaching could be a whole line of way that we bring value to what we do. That this, you can imagine the whole kind of job category that could reach out in the world and that millions of people could fulfill. We were clearly at the beginning of it, though, because there was still a distance to go. You have to put all of the checklists together to achieve the substantial reductions in mortality. But we began seeing the first places that were getting there, and this center was one of them, because coaching helped them learn to execute on the fundamentals. And you could see it here. This is a 23-year-old woman who had come in by ambulance in labor with her third child. She broke her water. Her water broke in the triage area, so they brought her directly to the labor and delivery room, and then they ran through their checks. I put the timestamp on here so you could see how quickly all of this happens and how much more complicated that makes things. Within 4 minutes, they had taken the blood pressure, measured her pulse, and also measured the heart rate of the baby. That meant that the blood pressure cuff and the fetal Doppler monitor, they were all there, and the nurse knew how to use it. The team was skilled and coordinated. The mom was doing great. The baby's heart rate was 143, which is normal. 8 minutes later, the intensity of the contractions picked up. So the nurse washed her hands, put on clean gloves, examined her, and found that her cervix was fully dilated. The baby was ready to come. She then went straight over to do her next set of checks. All of the equipment, she worked her way through and made sure she had everything she needed at the bedside. The baby mask was there, the sterile towel, the sterile equipment that you needed. And then 3 minutes later, one push, and that baby was out. I was watching this delivery, and suddenly I realized that the mood in that room had changed. The nurse was looking at the community health worker who'd come in with the woman because that baby did not seem to be alive. She was blue and floppy and not breathing. She would be one of that 1 in 20. But the nurse kept going with her checkpoints. She dried that baby with a clean towel. And after a minute, when that didn't stimulate that baby, she ran to get the baby mask, and the other one went to get the suction. She didn't have a mechanical suction because you couldn't count on electricity, so she used a mouth suction. And within 20 seconds, she was clearing out that little girl's airways. And she got back a green, thick liquid, and within a minute of being able to do that and suctioning out over and over, that baby started to breathe. Another minute, and that baby was crying. And 5 minutes after that, she was pink and warming on her mother's chest, and that mother reached out to grab that nurse's hand, and they could all breathe. I saw a team transformed because of coaching, and I saw at least one life saved because of it. We followed up with that mother a few months later. Mom and baby were doing great. The baby's name is Anshika. It means beautiful. And she is what's possible when we really understand how people get better at what they do. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's the idea of coaching related to emotional intelligence. And I would like you, any of you who are available, to just talk what you feel, any event, any team, any ideas, discussion from the speaker that you feel interested in and you want to discuss, feel free. It's an open topic. There are no question today. What can you learn from the video? What kind of emotional intelligence related idea coming up into your mind? Yeah. I give you some time to think about it. As soon as you got discussion, just raise your hand. Just talk. Unmute it and talk. Yeah. I guess you're hungry now and tired. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, as you can see that in the video, Gawande, he's a leader in his field, right? Then showing how even top performer rely on coaching to continue improving. Now he is an expert in the field, so still he need a coach. So this illustrates that coaching isn't about the coach expertise, it's about guiding and empowering the learner to grow. So the speakers, as you observe, say in any profession, it's not about how good you are now, it's about how good you are going to be, how good you becoming. So any emotional intelligence connection?
I would like to answer something.
Yes,
So
please.
they are really good at knowing themselves. You can tell when something isn't their strong suit and unafraid to admit it. Like instead of pretending they all have the answers, like they are open to learning from others and getting help when they need it, which shows a lot of humility. They don't see asking for support as a weakness. See it as a way to grow and get better at what they do. On top of that, they are great at working with people, especially in a coach or mentor situations. They build trust easily, take feedback in stride, and you really use the guidance they get to improve their skills. What's cool is that they don't just take in advice, they reflect on it, try new things, and keep pushing themselves forward. Because of that, they are always improving and their growth feel natural, not forced. It's also made it easy for others around them to learn and work with them, which makes the whole process feel positive and collaborative. Overall, they are someone who constantly growing, open-minded, and genuinely make the most out of any learning opportunities. Thank you. Disha, you are mute.
Thanks, Elias. Any ideas are coming up, everyone?
It's really amazing with how a team of people managed to save the baby, as well as giving the mother the greatest gift in life. It's very amazing, right? I mean from this video clip that we see, a good coach, it's not only to individual. A good coach must need a team, right? Coach has no his or her own limit, and there must be always a team to follow through with him. Yeah. So just by listening to just now the video clip, I just went a series of events just flashed through my head. There was one incident when I was serving in the army. I think all of us, maybe some of you are not born, I'm not sure, or maybe still a baby, young children or whatever. In the year 2011, 2039, 10, there's a tsunami, right? I believe all of yours will definitely recall. The tsunami happens in Phuket, and it happens in Aceh, Indonesia. And I was in the army emergency response team, and I was dispatched to Aceh. Okay, and we were there, Singapore, to help the Indonesian victims. And there was this mission where we went out to the sea. All of us, I mean, in that vessel, we need to collect as many bodies as possible. And then once we collected all the bodies, we will put them in the mosque because Indonesia mostly, in general, they are Muslim. So we put all the dead bodies in the mosque. And I was really overwhelmed when, especially during the nighttime, you can hear cries. You will hear mother, father, or even old people will just cry and then wanted to rush into the mosque to look and search for the bodies. Okay, so I mean, during that time, I was a very young officer. I seriously do not know what to do. First of all, if I stop them from coming in, I felt that I am heartless, right? But I have a protocol to follow. I have a mission to do. I could not allow all these people to come in and just search the dead body for the sake of doing. It could be, the dead body might have some virus, and then it spread to the living people, and then it get contagious and, out of hand. So I was really in dilemma. But luckily, I have a team, a platoon of team, 20 to 30 people. So my sergeant came to me and said that, sir, we stop them, we will get, a big, riot by this group of sad people. So what we do is that, we ask my sergeant actually, give me a recommendation and ask them, go back or give description or have a photo of the dead body or just description, and we go and search. And then we will put the dead bodies to one corner and let the doctor or the nurse to examine quickly so that it's not going to spread any diseases or virus. And then we allow the deceased family to come in. So in this manner, I know that there's no coaching involved. My side of ideas when this thing happened is I want to follow protocol. I want to follow my duty. I want to follow my mission. But I have a group of people with me. It's a sort of coaching because we are learning together. We are asking questions, and he's telling me that, sir, if we do this, we will have a riot. So yeah, and eventually, we make it such a success that every disease, almost, I will not say 100%, but mostly we solve all the disease family that they are capable of, identifying the dead bodies. So this is one of the experience that I want to share. I mean, in a team, there are people, for example, I am the leader. I have to follow a mission, but things change. And then as a coach together, we need different team members to give different perspective. And then we work on a solution to finish to provide a solution that, not only acceptable by one, but it's acceptable by many. So so I want to say that coaching is marvelous, right? It's not a specific situation where, you can just use any answer to, you have an answer to fulfill that problem. You don't have. You just need someone out of nowhere that somebody will be like an angel. I would say an angel to come up with something, and then all of us has to work together to make sure that we deliver the angel solution. So I think I'm dragging too long, but I'm just overwhelmed with just now what I saw in the video clip. So I hope I don't take too much time. Thank you. You're on mute, teacher.
Thank you, Francis. Very thoughtful conversation. Yeah. Very appreciate, very much in the way all of you share your idea. Anyone okay to share now? I mean, you don't have to try make strong effort to say, you can only share your feeling. And for sure, through the discussion of from the TED Talk that I can feel, related to emotional intelligence, with related to empathy and social skill. So a coach may not know the technical details. They say observing, asking insightful question. It about connection, right? And for self-awareness or self-regulation, that we listen to him. He described when he invite a coach to observe his own surgery, for example, that show that a coach must hold back to give quick answer or impose to their own way. Instead, we allow the coachee ideas to emerge. Then for relationship intelligence, we can see that a coach will going to create an environment where people feel safe and become more open feedback and accountability. Gawande, the speaker, emphasized that the coaching relationship have professional continuously improve. So not because the coach know more, but because the process would create trust and ownership. So that's a lesson related to emotional lesson from the movie that we can share. We can, focus on discussion. If you pick up a topic to share related to coaching, okay, make sure you enlighten in emotional intelligence teams. Okay, everyone. This is the last session we discussed. It's really interesting, in the way you debate at the beginning, that clarify for everyone, even myself, about coaching, mentoring, and I expect all of you would learn something from this discussion today. Thank you very much. I'm going to upload officially the final assignment for you on Google Classroom. I already shared with you before. I upload that officially this week, and you continue to work on this until we meet again on your presentation day. Remember, Friday, the 5th of September. Okay, everyone, have a good evening. Thanks so much. Yeah, thank Elias. Good night. Good night, everyone. Good night, Francis,
Good
Ibrahim.
night, teacher.
Night, Liz.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.